welcome to a new episode of Death Blow Podcast. Subscribe, like and share on my YouTube channel, Spotify and other audio platforms to listen the audio version. If you have suggestions or thoughts, write me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or even using the email if you don't have socials. Today, an album review about a record that made the history of black metal music and became a cult. This one turns 30 years since its first release, and I'm talking about the Mysteriis Sathanas by Mayhem. After Pelle's death, Euronymous needed a new vocalist and a new bassist since Necrobutcher was not a member anymore due to Pelle's suicide. He opted to replace him with the Count. Occultus was the vocalist for a while and co-founder of Helvet Shop. He received a death threat from Euronymous that even fired him later. He remembered that Pelle liked the tormentor vocalist from Hungary, Attila Chihar. He was in contact with him not only for the Mysteriis vocals, but also to have an agreement to sign under DSP Tormentor. After that, the Count was more present in Oslo to receive Euronymous' help for first Burzum album, always under deathlike silence. Because of this, they became friends before the media case. With this new lineup, they started recording the Mysteriis Sathanas. What does it mean, this name? Initially, it was Pelle's idea to use this evil name, and it's written badly in Latin. It's the meaning of Lord Satan's secret rites, according to Metal Archives. Dom is the abbreviation of Domini. Mystery means mystery, but can mean ritual or secret. Sathanas is not correct in Latin. The correct Latin word is Sathanas without the H or Diabolus. Using translator, if I write the Mysteriis Sathanas, it translates with of the mysteries of Satan, but I wouldn't be so sure. Anyway, it's not written in a correct form. Pelle, before taking his own life, wrote some lyrics inspired by Transylvania and dark stories. He knew something about a book entitled in Latin Antiquus Malum Cruentus Scriptum de Mysteriis Sathanas, but nobody discovered if really existed this one. Pelle wrote on a paper many books that he was looking for. One of those was the Mysteriis Aegyptiorum Celderorum Affiliorum by Iamblichus. The title means in English On the Mysteries of the Egyptians, Chaldeans and Assyrians. Iamblichus was a Neoplatonic philosopher from Syria. Maybe it was this one the mysterious book he was looking for? We will never know. The Mysteriis Aegyptiorum talks about theurgy and rituals. If you remember well, Pelle was really fascinated by Necronomicon book by H.P. Lovecraft, where it has mentioned the Book of the Dead, made of human flesh, but as you know, it was a legend written inside this book. Coming back to Mayhem, in February 1992, they started to rehearse some songs for the album. They met at Skippergata, an Oslo suburb, at rehearsal place. Here they played only no vocals for songs. Buried Bottom and Dust, Cursed in Eternity, Materialized in Stone and Life Eternal. Recorded on a tape by Euronymous, the track Materialized in Stone is known as From the Dark Past. Then other rehearsals were done on May 16 of the same year at Møllergata, another Oslo suburb. Here they rehearsed all songs that needed to be recorded for the album. Skippergata's sound is more raw and not a good quality. Møllergata instead is very well recorded and instrumental tracks of course. Same lineup, Hellhammer on drums, Euronymous on guitar and the Count on bass. June 1992, Mayhem went to Bergen to start recording the album from June 22nd to June 29 according to the Mysteriis box set that was published some years ago. In this week, they recorded these tracks: Buried Bottom and Dust, Pagan Fears, Freezing Moon, Funeral Fog, Life Eternal, From the Dark Past, Cursed in Eternity, and the Mysteriis Sathanas. They have recorded this album at famous Grieghallen studios. This concert hall is the home of Bergen Philharmonic Orchestra. Pytten, real name Eirik Kundvin, was the producer for this epic masterpiece. He is a sound engineer and he did an excellent work with this release. His effort will always remain in black metal people's minds. I even dedicated a short session to this important man. Go to watch it now. Euronymous was always sending letters to Pytten about the sound and how to improve it. Attila vocals will be inserted only 1 year later, from 30 April until 2nd May 1993. 3 days working a lot to reach the best sound ever. Varga remembered in his video, when his YouTube channel was opened, that Attila arrived in Oslo train station and he was there with Euronymous. Attila, according to the count, was very disappointed when he met Euronymous, and he told it to everybody except him. Hellhammer was even joking to kill Euronymous. Then they drove until Bergen and recorded the vocal sessions. The atmosphere inside the band was not so good. The Count enjoyed Attila and Hellhammer's company, but not Euronymous. That was angry and didn't feel good with them. He had to sleep in a hotel room because the other band members didn't want him to stay around. About the recordings, Attila in Grieghallen had to record vocals and he had to prepare the room where he would have sang with candles and needed to be very dark down in the basement that was pretty big. About the Snurre, he was editing lyrics and helped Euronymous with riffs. How was recorded the Mysteriis? Inside the giant theater, Euronymous' amplifier was placed in the stands with microphones. They found the perfect position for the best sound. Pytten created a small cage for the drums to don't disperse the drum sound. It just showed the perfectionism into making the whole album. This was Mayhem. Later on, Hellhammer and Euronymous were mixing the album with Pytten in July 1993. At the end, the Mysteriis was published under Deadlight Silence Production and distributed under Voices of Wonder. The cover design was made by DYE, and they used a monochrome photo of Nidaros Cathedral that is situated in Trondheim, Snorreruck's town. The photography inside the album was made by him. Released with the help of Hellhammer on 24 May 1994. After Euronymous' death, Hellhammer asked if it was possible to release it, but Euronymous' father didn't agree soon, except if the Count bass lines were deleted. But despite the recommendation of his father to don't publish it with his bass lines, Hellhammer used them anyway. A sad and important black metal history comes to an end. With the arrest of the Count and Euronymous' death, Mayhem didn't have a direction anymore. Okay, let's analyze right now the songs of the Mysteriis Dom Sathanas. First track is Funeral Fog. The lyrics are clearly dark. In the middle of Transylvania, a dark, thick fog where it is impossible to see through. It is clearly a reference to the Carpathian climate. The priest completing a funeral, I think, is referring to mysterious deaths. Only dead trees grow here. Pelle describes a dark territory where no plants or flowers grow, a barren place where there is no life. Regarding the arrangement of this song, it starts fast with Hellhammer's drums and Euronymous' merciless riffs. I really like the initial part. Then everything stops and the pace changes. Only Euronymous' guitar remains and then the sound explodes with fast drums and Attila singing, which is very different from Pelle's voice. Attila managed to describe with his voice the most incredible darkness in musical history. Attila's interpretative ability to identify with a dark priest is remarkable. The chorus, made of semitones, gives that very dark and satanic tone. Classical music parts can also be perceived on a technical level. Very well done. Second track is Freezing Moon. In Everything Here Is So Cold, Everything Here Is So Dark, Pelle talks about life on Earth in a cold place like Transylvania or Scandinavia, but could even mean a metaphor. Life is cold, life is dark. Could even refers to difficulties and problems people have during their own lives. Diabolic shapes float by out from the dark. Makes me think of an unknown, abandoned place where there are strange creatures observing. The concept of floating perfectly explains the phenomenon of ghosts, beings who without a physical body manage to manifest their presence by moving or hiding objects. I remember it was here I died, by following the freezing moon. The individual remembers his death. It's night again, night you beautiful. I place my hunger on living humans. The night hides the mysteries of humanity, such as vampires and other dark creatures. The hunger on living humans makes me think of a legend of the vampire who feeds on human blood. Darkness is growing, eternity opens, the cemetery lights up again. The cemetery that lights up could be a metaphor for candles that are near the graves. It could be the definition of a paradox. Even though it is a gloomy and sad place, there is light. As in ancient times, fallen souls die behind my steps by following the freezing moon. The moon is as if it were the portal to the afterlife. Death is awaited as a liberation from this life. Freezing moon also refers to the climate of Transylvania, wet and cold, and could also be a portal to other worlds. Pelle loved everything about the afterlife, and this song is proof of that. Perhaps the most mystical and dark song of the entire album. The arrangement of this song is divided into a 6/8 start and not 4/4, giving the impression of a waltz rhythm, the intro, a dark waltz. The beginning of Euronymous with the guitar plays an arpeggio that has classical music at its basis. Then you change speed, the increasingly violent riffs and increasingly faster drums. Bass plays a short solo part and then joins together with the other instruments in a doom metal phase. I'll be brief. The drums are slow at this stage, and Attila's voice is increasingly demonic, and he does it very well. Euronymous solo improved a lot compared to years before. He is more precise, and you can see that he has trained a lot to get to an excellent level. Then, towards the end, the drums are fast and the guitar too, and is one of the pieces that made the history of black metal. Third track is Cursed in Eternity. It was the only one lyric written by both Necrobutcher and Pelle. This is a story of a shaman who cast a curse, according to Necrobutcher words in the Death Archives. Coming back to lyrics, the name was written with a fire makes me think of an evil ritual. Walking down into the earth, I believe, is a reference to hell, and approaching into the land of shadows is a clear reference to the land of spirits. The demon that flies in the darkness skies is waiting of damned souls. A shaman is ready to curse the person's name written with fire. Then the serpent appears. If you remember in the Bible, it talks about the tempting serpent. It's a symbol of rational perversion which deludes itself into being able to compete with God, to judge his actions, and to rise to divinity. About the arrangement, the beastly intro with Euronymous guitar and the numbers drums, it's something atmospheric and dark. I really like it. Drums are very good with many variations throughout the song. Euronymous riffs seem like a dark symphony of classical music, and Attila's voice manages to interpret everything in a masterful way. I know very well that many Mayhem fans find impossible that he could be a valid replacement for Pelle, because that was unique in his singing, but I must admit that he also managed to convey the pain in the song very well. We know that he will never be like Pelle, but he did his best despite everything. Euronymous riff seems to create a vampiric and demonic song together with drums. I really like the reverb effect of the guitar during the first arpeggio. Very well executed. Towards the end, the speed increases more and more, and I must admit that it is not an easy piece to perform. Fourth track is Pagan Fears. The bloody history from the past, deceased humans now forgotten, can refer to a bloody war, a field full of corpses, an event with many victims. It could have been a war or a cataclysm. Their lives so primitive and pagan, superstitions were part of life, is a reference to a bygone era where pagan rites were used before the advent of Christianity. willful people with pale faces, staring obsessed at the moon. Here it talks about the moon. During pagan rites, it had a lot of importance. The gaze directed at the moon makes me think of a cry for help from frightened men. Some memories will never go away, and they will forever be here. The past is alive and torments the present of human beings. About the music, the start is at normal speed. I really like the Euronymous riff with an elaborate tempo with the drums and the semitone scale that manage to create magic in the music, in the darkest music. Then the speed of the drums increases more and more, and the semitone scale of Euronymous makes everything evil and sad. You can almost perceive a melancholy in the song, something lost, something to hold on to that no longer exists. Attila's voice here is really dark. The strong point of this song? Scales. Guitar scales are phenomenal. Drums change tempo and vary more and more in that the past is alive. And then it goes up to speed with Euronymous riffs. It really sounds like a work of classical music. Exceptional. Fifth track is Life Eternal, a dream of another existence. Makes me think to Pelle's near-death experience that really changed his life. Praying for death. Death is a savior from normal life. It arrives and takes you when you least expect it. To release the soul, one must die. To find the peace inside, you must get eternal. Death as the answer to everything. After it, we awaken. I am a mortal, but am I human? Pelle dives into introspection. Am I still living, or am I just existing? It's very philosophical, his concept. Living a human life is the ability to feel emotions deeply and express them. A human destiny, but nothing human inside. We live life as mortal human beings, with a body and a mind, but for Pelle it has never been like this. He felt to have nothing to offer. Nothing human inside really means the inability to live and feel emotions, to find something pleasant in this life. What you found was eternal death. No one will ever miss you. It's a statement. I didn't find anything that gave me joy, so nobody will ever miss me because I was never important. But it's not true. Pelle will always be forever missed by his fans and family. Life Eternal starts fast. Hellhammer and Euronymous are quick at playing, then everything stops and Euronymous introduces an arpeggio that will last until almost the end of the song. Attila's voice is always very dark and evil. The count's bass here makes an interesting and well-researched interesting passage. This song is not as fast as the others, but demonstrates maturity in structure. You don't always have to be fast. You can also be dark by creating slower and more complex pieces. Euronymous solo with two guitars together, also created by him, creates a ghostly reverberation. Then it changes the pace. Hellhammer is more assertive with the drum parts. Euronymous riffs in the song are eternal, just like the song. Here Attila's singing has a long pause and then returns towards the end, leaving room for the instruments. It's as if this song wanted to give space to Pelle's voice, which no longer exists. The structure of the beginning resumes towards the end, accompanying Attila's desperate cry, a truly timeless piece. Sixth track is From the Dark Past. The theme of fear is very present in the text. Fear so deep, the mouth opens wide. There is a certain despondency on the part of the author. The eyes stare so empty, the mouth screams so silent. There is a desire to free yourself from this pain. It stays so quiet because the scream seems to be too loud. Then, in the darkness of the past, ancient times, legend stories so dark. Always the theme of the past that returns. If you don't make peace with your past, you can't live in the present. Very current topic even today. Not even the memories are left. It is as if the memories are too strong to remember. The stone is cold as death, but what formed its true fears. The stone is a symbol of something immobile, which does not change over time. This can generate fear. The fear of change is a very good theme. They are texts that reflect any generation, and this is the beauty of Pelle and his ability to make every text he wrote immortal. He is alive even in death. Euronymous starts this song with his classical music style riff and it's amazing. Then Hellhammer follows with drums. I believe that in this song you can hear a lot of Snorri Luke's help in the guitar structure, especially on that slide. It's a complex and articulated song. Perhaps this is precisely the secret to making an album cult. Attila's voice is really deep in this song. The speed increases and Euronymous makes a chord with the guitar in addition to the classical arpeggio, which is truly atmospheric. Then towards the middle of the song, Euronymous takes a solo and Hellhammer accompanies him with the drums impeccably. Then towards the end, the song ends quickly to give rhythm to the rest of the song. Attila's whisper makes everything demonic. Truly an incredible job. 7th track is Buried by Time and Dust. Vision of that no morning's light ever will come. The morning light can never lift the lost soul. I'm too old now. The dark is so near. Will I ever reach the land beyond? Being too old makes me think of being an old soul. I believe Pelle was, and he felt too old for this world. The darkness approaching, something that cannot be avoided, like death itself. Reach the land beyond makes me think of before I die of being too old to live. I've been old since the birth of time. Time buried me in earth. Being old since birth is just clearly a reference to being an old soul. I believe it was a statement in believing in reincarnation, a man who lived many lives. Wandering out of space, wandering out of time. Time and space are the physical limit where each of us is placed. Being outside of matter and time indicates being a wandering soul, a ghost wandering the earth, alone and lost. Only silence can be heard, silence of people's tears. People's tears is a clear reference to the fact that the person is dead and leaves immense pain to those who are still alive. Silence is the fact that the person being deceased can no longer speak and cannot fill a void that he has left. No one knows my grave, buried by time and dust. Makes me think of his life, according to him, so insignificant that he didn't even deserve to be buried. Buried by Time and Dust starts fast with the Euronymous riff and the drums that follow it. Very good. This is perhaps the most violent song on the entire album in terms of speed. Attila sings heavily, very well. Euronymous and Hellhammer are really fast here. The most beautiful part of the song are Euronymous arpeggios. I like that the gong is used in some sections. This song is truly a dark symphony, the fastest song on the whole album. 8th track is the Mysteriis dom Sathanas. To the elder ruins again. Could be an ancient place where only ruins remain. The wind whispers beside the deep forest. The wind as if it was a voice that whispers something. There is a forest nearby and there may be dangers hidden inside. That deep really, in my opinion, indicates something dark, something to pay attention to. Darkness will show us the way. The lost soul lets itself be guided into the darkness. There is no peace, indicates that the soul is tormented. We are collected the Wolful Around a book made of human flesh, refers to Lovecraft's novel Necronomicon, also mentioned in the film Evil Dead, one of Pelle's most loved films. According to the Italian website horror.com, a book bound in human flesh exists, but it is not the Necronomicon, but a French book by Arsène Moussaïr entitled The Destin de l'Âme, I hope the pronounce is good, The Destinies of the Soul, written in 1879. According to Harvard University, it has been confirmed that this book was made of human flesh. It belonged to a back of a mentally ill woman who died of stroke. the doctor Ludovic Boulon decided to use this human skin. Pelle was right. There really was a book bound in human flesh, but it was not the Mysteriis of Iamblichus. The Grandibus Anticus Mulum Tristis, Arcanas Mysteria Scriptum, it means of the ancient great old said Mule, Arcane Mysteries written. I don't know if the translator is correct. If you know Latin, feel free to write it in the comments the correct translation. Invoco Crentus Domini de Demonium. It means I call upon the mighty Lord of the demons. We follow with our white eyes the ceremonial proceeding. Clearly tells about a satanic ritual and the demonic possessions that a satanic ritual can cause. Inside the book, there are many satanic rituals to perform to invoke spirits. Rex Sacriticulus Mortifer. It means a king of the deadly priest. In the circle of stone coffins, we are standing with our black robes on. The black robe typical of satanic rituals. Psychomentum et prec exito annos major. It means psychomantic and prec exit years older, but probably it's not correct. Prec in Latin it means prayer, so I don't know how to translate it correctly. Ferus netandus sacerdos magus, mortem animalium. It means wild witch priest, death of animals. It talks about the animals they caught to sacrifice to Satan during the ritual. About music, the Mysteriis intro is truly impeccable. Attila's voice transformed into a demon makes the atmosphere truly evil. Then Euronymous riffs want to scare the listener and super fast Hellhammer drums surround all this darkness. For this song, Attila transformed himself into a dark priest by reciting Latin phrases, and he succeeds. No one before Mayhem had done something so dark musically. Not even rock bands like Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones came this far. Everything stops at a certain moment with Euronymous' guitar, creates an incredible atmosphere with his guitar. Very well done. Chords and solo done by Euronymous with Hellhammer's drums create a truly spooky symphony. Maybe the only thing I don't understand is that songs end abruptly, without even fading. That's the only bad thing about this album, but about the rest is a masterpiece. Okay, it was all for this episode of Deathblow Podcast. Subscribe, like and share Deathblow Podcast. Listen even on Spotify and other audio platforms, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok if you want to write me, and I have even a website where you can even find the email if you don't have social media. See you soon, guys.